Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we are talking about the spell Reality Break.
Sorry, I had an itchy nose. Not related to breaking reality, but this is a nifty little spell. This is one of those critical role explore guide to wild mount. Is this a real spell? Is this not a real spell? I don't know. Is this technically homebrew? Is this D&D? Maybe yes. Just talk to your DM about it if you want to take it. It's neat though. It's a big 8th level explosive spell. It's fine. I'm gonna go with fine. It's actually relatively short despite it like trying to break reality, and I think that is to its disservice. I think the spell would be really cool if it was longer and had more weirdness to it.
Yeah,
This is definitely closer to weird than weird is, but that's not a very high bar. So
no.
this is a cast time of an action wizard spell. It's like a dunamancy chronodry. I don't know what any of those words mean. I don't know if you need to be specific something else to take this. I think it's just a wizard spell, from my understanding. So we're going to treat it as such. It takes an action to cast, 60-foot cast range. You need a crystal prism, concentration of minutes. So that does take your concentration. You shatter barriers between realities and timelines, thrusting creature into turmoil and madness. Sweet. The target makes a whiz save. If it fails, it can't take reactions until the spell ends. The affected target must also roll a d10 at the start of each of its turns. The number rolled determines what happens shown on the reality break effects table. Could be
Whoa.
fancy. I don't know why it's a D10 because there's just 4 results here.
Well, I think some of the results are way heavier. Like there's one to two, and then three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Yeah, not
It
not
feels
heavier
menial to
enough
me.
to where, yeah, it should be just a D4,
Yeah.
or there should be like there should be like the one cool effect, or the, like, I don't know, the cooler effect should have a smaller chance of happening, like significantly smaller.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
as
okay.
it stands, these are close enough to it doesn't really matter at all. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
not even a little bit. So the 4 effects you get on a 1 and 2, you get Visions of the Fog Realm. It takes 12 psychic damage and is stunned. And that's a very good condition. Until the end of the turn. So it skips its turn basically. 3 to 5 is Rending Rift. It makes a dex save, taking 8d12 force damage on a failed save or half as much as no success. This is notably the only one that has like a save attached to it.
Right.
Which is stupid. This one should just do this. The Rending Rift should just say the target takes 8d12 force damage. That's neither here nor there, though.
And
So
should
then
have should have an effect.
I agree with that. Then we have Wormhole. Target is teleported along with everything it's wearing up to 30 feet to an occupied space of your choice that you can see, so you get to yeet somewhere. It takes 10d12 force damage and is knocked prone. So it does 3 things. It teleports them 30 feet, it knocks them prone, and does 10d12 force damage, which notably you can see like the damage is just increasing with each subsequent layer. And this is one of the that's the 6 to 8 one, so there's 3 results for that too, which is like I don't understand what the distribution here is, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, finally, Chill of the Dark Void, 10d12 cold damage isn't blinded for until the end of turn, which is the worst. Well, I mean, it's better than no condition, which is the second one, but it's the worst of those 3 options of conditions, I think. I really like 2 of these. I'm really happy if I ever get Visions of the Far Realm. I'm really happy if I ever get Wormhole. If I can Chill the Dark Void, I'm like, yeah, sure, fine. If I ever get Rending Rift, I'm really bummed out.
We gotta weigh the. I mean, yeah, blinded isn't a great condition, but you gotta weigh the 10d12 against the 6d12 for the stun.
The stun skips their turn. That's so
Yeah,
much
yeah.
better than 40 or 40-12 damage. Like that's
I mean,
way better than 40-12
unless
damage.
that 4d12 damage kills the thing.
Sure, but like if it's not taking its turn, you can just do that damage a different way. Like
Yeah.
I don't think that's a particularly tall. I think it's far and away Visions of the Far Realm is the best of these 4. Because maybe there's that one case where it does kill them for some reason, or maybe they're immune to the stun condition. There are some creatures that are immune to the stun condition, so like that's not nothing. I don't know. For something that's supposed to break reality, the only one that really feels like that to me is Wormhole. The rest
Yeah.
of this just feel kind of like a souped up version of
Damage
blindness deafness,
and
right?
a minor condition. Well, I mean, like, yeah, stunned is a good condition, but it's not a break reality condition.
I
Like the
want to see if
wormhole is cool. Like in
yeah.
fact, it would be even cooler since it's an 8th level spell and we're breaking reality. Just take out that text or change the text. Teleported, not with what it's wearing and carrying. It's naked
Yeah.
and all its shit drops down to the floor.
Absolutely. That puts it in a weird spot. It's like, wait, now we have to look back at every single teleportation spell and ask, does it say with what you're being worn or carried, or are you just teleporting around naked now?
Oh no, I mean I'll grant that for the other teleportation, but this
Sure.
one is reality break.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I would have loved to see like gravity is reversed, but only for the creature. I would have loved to see like any kind of just weird, wacky, like maybe it's everything it does is backwards now, and it like sees everything backwards, and you can have it like all of its movement is reversed or something. I don't know exactly how mechanically you run any of that. Now, granted, except reverse gravity, that one we already have rules for. But if you're gonna make a spell's objective to break reality, you really have to sell it harder than this, I think. On its own, if you ignore the text and look from a flavor perspective and look at it as a spell, this is a 1 minute duration saber die that's probably not better than a lot of just like removing a thing, right? Like I don't think I love this more than polymorph by that much. Um, Especially because it gets subsequent saves at the end of each of its turns. So like if there are any saves that if it fails, you just put it out of the fight, those are probably better in a lot of cases. This is something you want to stick on something that's not gonna it's that's the only thing you're fighting, right? Is what you would stick this on and get value out of it. I think if you ever get 2 instances of damage, you're like, that was probably worth it. And if you ever get less than that, you're like, wow, this spell blows. I don't know how consistently it's going to happen. I'm skeptical on this spell being that castable.
All right, well, let's talk about damage. 8th level spell.
Okay, let's
The
pull up the table.
conditions aren't amazing, so as a strictly a damage spell, how are we doing here?
So if we compare it to like, let me just pull up Disintegrate, because Disintegrate's lower level than this, and we can check very easily. So that's all Disintegrate does. Disintegrate just does a huge chunk of damage. So Disintegrate for your 6th level slot, I believe. Let me check it, 6 or 7. Loading 6th level spell. You are getting 10d6 plus 40. And then we pull up the good old fashioned dice calculator. 10d6 plus 40 in terms of d12s. Let's see, 10d12 is roughly 65, and 10d6 plus 40 is 75. So Disintegrate is out damaging any of these single effects on their own. 2 of them, like if we bump it up to 12d12.
Well, I mean, they can be hit more than once, so
Yeah, if they fail 2 subsequent saves, they're guaranteed to take more damage than a Disintegrate at 2 levels higher and with conditions. So we're not like, if you ever get 3, you're like, wow, this thing hit like a bus. I think that's pretty fair. Again, the problem is attached to a saber die that sometimes does nothing, and sometimes it only fails once, and you're bummed out in both those situations. I tend to like my saber dies where I'm really happy if it fails it once, and I'm then just over the moon every turn subsequent of that where good things are happening. It's all gravy. Needing it to fail twice to match a 6th level spell with then mediocre conditions, sometimes no conditions, I'm a lot less interested in that. And I think that's going to be the use case for it a lot of the time is 2 failed saves at its best. You can't really expect more out of that. And if you're not getting Wormhole, if you're not getting Visions, you're just like, this was basically just a Disintegrate that cost me my concentration and 2 extra spell slot levels. That doesn't seem particularly good.
I don't know if this might work well if you've got another person in your party that's imposing disadvantage on your target creature's saving throws.
You compare this to stuff like Mind Sliver, right? Someone that's like, okay,
Yeah.
with Mind Sliver, and then I slam them with the Reality Break, and they're not making that save anytime soon. If you can keep it up, it's pretty good. They being concentration means they can also get whacked off of you, though, so you have to make sure like you're dealing with the concentration component of that. That's just every spell with concentration. For 8th level spells, like I will say, the 8th level spells aren't great in this game. And this one is among the better ones of the 8th level spells. I don't think that's a ringing endorsement of 8th level spells. I think that's just like yeah, these are pretty bad. They're like not near like the 7th and 6th level spells they feel about as good as. And like I said, we're comparing this to the 6th level spell Disintegrate, and I'm like, yeah, it's about as good as that if you get 2 casts off. I don't love to be there. At the same time, if you ever get like 3 or 4 on a giant dragon with this, I would be baffled that you burned through all of its legendary resistances and then decided to reality break it, as opposed to just, killing it. But that's your business. Do what you want. I'm just overall disappointed with the spell. I don't think it's bad by a huge margin, but it's definitely not riveting or that exciting, right?
No, I think Wizards drops the ball quite a bit when it comes to these random effects. With weird, this what was the other one? It was just a bunch of different kind of damages.
Chaos Bolt.
Chaos Bolt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like on one hand, they want spells that are like easily digestible. On the other, if you're playing with people that are at a tier that they're casting 8th level spells, right? These characters are 15th level. I think you can expect them to be able to parse the rules text a little bit more and delve into it a little bit weirder stuff and let a little bit more nonsense occur than what this is offering. If there is like wackier, bigger, badder spells at lower tiers, like reverse gravity, that make me go, that's so weird and wacky and cool, I can't see why we can't print more of those effects. They seem like in a game that's built mainly in the theater of the mind and on whiteboards, there's no reason why we need to be dealing with just stock standard conditions on spells that are supposed to break reality. There's no reason why these can't be more than 3 or 4 lines each, talking about unique new conditions, talking about different ways to interface with a monster, and maybe one's get like there's a hurling it through hell, for example. Maybe it leaves the plane temporarily before coming back, and brings with it a bunch of garbage, like summons monsters and shit. You could do a lot of stuff that could be very fun and very exciting to break reality. This ain't it.
No. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Yeah, I mean, but all that said, if you can get a few uses out of it, it's a decent damaging spell. And if you get a stun, great. If you get a wormhole, fun things to be done with that.
Yeah. I would just be I don't love movement effects that aren't consistent. And this is a movement effect that isn't consistent, because when they matter the most is when you need them right now. So whenever you can force a movement on somebody, you care about like throwing them off of a bridge right now. You care about like throwing them into the magma, under the volcano, in front of the giant rolling boulder, underneath the Trask stomping feet, right? Like all of that happens in the moment. It being random means I guess I eat one of their moves is what it'll feel like a lot of the time. And I think that's kind of a bummer. So I like as fun as Wormhole sounds, and it's definitely like it's one of those effects like, oh, it's actually something kind of unique. The unique effect isn't even that good. The unique effect is just,
I mean, I don't know.
A 30-foot teleport that's not often going to be that irrelevant.
I mean, that's putting them where you want on the battle map. That's something. That's not nothing.
It's just oftentimes that where you want is going to be menial by that point.
Yeah.
And I not being able to control when that event isn't great.
Yeah. All right. Well, you got a rating for this one?
I think if you can get 3 rounds out of this against something that doesn't have legendary resistances, that also is a big centerpiece, which at this tier of play, I'm like, what are we fighting? But if that comes up, this is probably fine. It's probably a 3. You can probably juice 2 to 3 rounds out of this. If you juice 2 to 3 rounds out of this, this is almost like by the book exactly what you'd expect for damage and status effects to be. For something that's supposed to break reality, I'm hugely disappointed.
Once again, I will agree with your assessment of 3. And for those reasons, yeah. If it truly was a spell worthy of being called Reality Break, it could be a 4 or 5, but no.
This should be an easy 5. If you give me a novel of text down there. I want a D100. I want every effect to be unique. I want it to be like potted plant, wild magic kind of nonsense, right? That's where I want the spell like this to be. I don't care if it's good. I just need it to be big, stupid.
Yeah, that's
right?
it. Yes,
that's what I want.
Absolutely.
Out of this. I want everywhere all at once, everything everywhere all at once, like big dildo fight. That's what I want out of my Reality Break.
All right. Well, big dildo fight. Awesome. All right, that was Reality Break. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it, a gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.